we go. So, thank you, Miss Saira, for
No problem. We haven't done anything
working
yet.
with me. Well, we had a meeting before, and that was on the, let's see, I have the date on me, hopefully, Wednesday before we went for the break, right? What was that date?
I have to look at a calendar that I can tell you. November something.
Yeah, Wednesday, November the 18th, 19th and 20th we left, yes. I think it was the 18th. Yeah. And we were overall looking at, seeing how the class has performed. First, we were talking a little bit about getting to know each other, and as you had said, and I was reflecting that, how you come to a realization that you want to work with children. Like at times you feel, my God, children, it's so much work. Like, but then eventually you come to that realization, and I felt that with you, that like it's like a full circle completed, and then you come back to that realization that this is where my heart lies. This is what is meaningful work. This is literally like making such a powerful contribution in somebody's life. And especially the primary level sort of sets the foundation for the children. So it's a very important phase of their life when we are coming into their lives. So that sort of touched me, that you, because your profile looks like more like suited to a different environment. So
Yeah,
given
I
that,
know. I get that a lot.
I mean, in all sense, like in not only just in the way you come across, but also your entire persona. It's like, but so therefore that was very touching, and like a rededication to that effort. And then we were looking at the M class results of your class, and we looked at those 3 students, me and the boy who we had, and then Augustus, and we had me and Jackie, 3 of them. And then you said that Jackie, it was like it is just something psychological, so you're not even worried for him. And me, you said, is that she's very bright and she's just transitioning from her language. So it's just going to take her a little time, and then she's going to flower after that. And so that's. But then our concern was about Alexis, and then we were looking at what we can do about her, and then the targets that are set over here are auto-generated by the program. So it's not like you have set this target, and so.
I think Miss Delia in the last meeting mentioned she set them.
She set them. Okay, she's the one who sets them. Okay. If they generate for everybody, I'm sure she set some bars over there, because I see for the student also, it's all 371 for everybody. So that's probably how she set them. And then I came across that material for the limited English proficiency students, which I shared with you, and which you.
I don't know what to do with this.
Okay. No, it was just something.
That in Montessori before.
Yeah, it was just something that I came across, and I felt that as an intervention for a student, maybe I just wanted you to look at it.
If she
and
was
then,
in person, it would be so much different, But on Zoom, I can't do a worksheet with her and stuff because they've never been exposed to that. So I have to turn it into cards or flashcards or something.
for her to see,
Exactly.
and
So she doesn't get overwhelmed either.
okay.
Because if she gets overwhelmed, she shuts down really quick. And then she doesn't want to participate. She doesn't want to do anything.
So then, as an intervention, what's coming to your mind? What sort of an intervention will work?
What I have been doing for the last few years, it's not an issue that just happened. I just give her a little bit extra attention. And with Zoom this year, I have to be so much more conscious of her self-esteem. because right in the beginning I felt like she didn't want to answer questions because she felt like she was wrong. She needed more time. I was giving her more time. Every day after Zoom, we stayed online for about 20 minutes each, and I just helped her with sounds, and I added another child in there just to make her feel like, like she's not being singled out. But all that helped a lot. She is moving up. Her confidence is better. So now when we do group work, she's doing a much better job keeping up than she was in August.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just me giving her that not too much attention, but in my mind, keeping it there.
She's the focus,
exactly, right? Because I think just her age right now, I don't want to hurt her confidence more than anything. Especially with her just getting the hang of things, catching up. If I did start questioning her or pushing her, she would shut down really quick. So I have to be very mindful of that with her. Mom is always very friendly and willing to, give extra time and help with their home situation where you're not taking most of the two other sisters. So we just do the best we can with her. And right now I'm just doing more sounds and things like that extra.
Okay. So,
Miss Trump, Miss Ines said
given that, the year will fly by so quickly,
Exactly.
and she will move on to the first grade either here or wherever. And as per our curriculum, like the Montessori primary, where she would be reading and writing. And do you see Alexis, where do you see Alexis on that spectrum?
Behind.
Behind,
Definitely,
okay.
Yeah. She does, by Teresa, she does need to be tested for dyslexia because mom just recently went to a doctor last week. And they recommended it too, and they said get it done through your school.
They put her at a 3-year school?
No, they said get it done through your school.
Oh, okay.
Dyslexia testing.
Or the doctor also recommended the dyslexia testing for her. And then what happens? Like we get her tested for dyslexia, and then what next? Because that's the big question.
Oh, we just keep trying our best, giving her special one-on-one, I guess, With children like that in the past, they need...
Yes, I did give her a heads up. So,
Can I just get my coat? I thought it wasn't.
Yeah, so we just keep giving her tutoring, that's it.
because like some schools have programs for dyslexia.
Yeah, we don't.
Exactly, so that's why in the school, like when teachers suggest testing, and I'm like, then what?
Yeah.
Then what? Nothing is going to change.
Then we know that there is another problem for sure. Right now, honestly, with a 5-year-old, you don't know. So it's kind of like we just try our best, which we continue to do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure if she's diagnosed, there's other ways that we have to actually train her and teach her. As a kindergarten, isn't there?
Well, dyslexia program, it goes with a lot of the work that we do. The sandpaper tracing so that the memory is built up.
She's already
So
done
that, and then the left side or the right side, whether the left is a D and the right is a B, and that type of thing. So it's not like any other out of the thing for us. Maybe
she
for...
would need that.
Yeah, because maybe for other school systems, having a dyslexia program would have a structure, which would then again involve like going to the basics, building memory in her,
So what
drilling.
would you recommend if she is dyslexic, if she's diagnosed?
That's why I'm interested to talk to you to see that, what is the intervention that we can start with her.
Yeah, but have you ever had to deal with that in the past with a child before, in kindergarten?
Well, because in the school that I worked in, dyslexia was a different department.
Oh, okay.
It was not under special education because dyslexia is 504.
So, in your mind, what would you recommend?
Well,
she's diagnosed.
if she is diagnosed, and that's the thing that, the program that we can create with our material, which is very focused for her to build that memory for the direction of the word,
Like one-on-one more.
one-on-one more. Hi, Miss Delia, I'm going to just turn my... I don't even know how to turn. Okay, say hello so that I'm just do it to yourself over there, because we're just discussing.
If she was dyslexia, before you missed the class and stuff, all the other kids are okay. Alexis has had issues. She's doing much better than before.
Mm-hmm.
While I didn't have remote learners, in-class learners, we were doing extra lessons on Zoom. I had plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's caught up and stuff, and also nervous too. I don't want to hurt her confidence
Yes.
by pinning her because she's very, very conscious of that at this age, especially.
Yeah.
So mom is pushing to dyslexia testing. So she went to the doctor last week and she asked me again because I was telling mom we're gonna do it later towards the end of the year or in first grade.
Yeah, there's a
we wanna
screening.
see. Yeah. So mom went to the doctor again last week and she's like, they told me that the school needs to do dyslexia training.
Yes, but
Testing
she
first.
has to go through the screening first because.
But they told her to her school. So should I tell her something different?
What do you mean to the school?
Doctor told her school's supposed to test her for dyslexia.
Yeah, but there's a process to it.
Oh, but we
You cannot just like do it right now.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Last time I discussed with Nargis when she told me, I forwarded that to the mom
Yeah.
and I said,
Yeah.
we will get back to you and we are watching her progress.
So essentially, how old is she?
5.
So she's in kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
So basically, from her M class, beginning of the year screening,
Yeah, it is.
that will trigger if she is well below. So if she is well below those marks, there is a mid-year process where you would check on her. You will have to check 2 or 3 elements under her name when you open her
Separately.
name.
Further,
So
More
that
than
was
these.
actually under
more than these, yeah.
I saw those in the training over.
Yeah, so basically they would have you look into L&F, letter naming, but in Montessori, letter naming is not at the beginning of the year is not the focus. It is the letter sounds. So that is why dyslexia screening happens at the end of the year because even TEA recognizes
No,
you don't expect a beginning kindergarten child to automatically know all the letter names just like that. That's not a normal occurrence. Those children that know that have been given advanced lessons primarily even before they reach kindergarten or they were being taught at home. But in a normal reference, even TEA says, no, don't. Letter naming is a process that takes a while until the end of the year. That's why it is only at the end of the year that's when they do a dyslexia screening. Otherwise, they would have said, do this dyslexia screening at the beginning of the year when you see letter naming to be well
Do
developed.
they have the screening for the dyslexia for the extra elements in the middle of the year? Are you going to do it?
End of the year.
It's going to be first graders.
Yeah.
But for Alexis, just particularly for Alexis, can we do that in the middle of the year? Those extra elements. Because anyway, letter naming is there for all students.
Right.
But there are some extra 3 or 4 tests, that highlight when we click them
But
probably.
then that's the thing, is like you wouldn't want to assume that she is already dyslexic without her having properly developed
She's too
into letter naming sequence. Because here's the thing, if let's say letter naming well below and others are also the same and they have the same scores, are you saying just because the parents didn't say anything about them being dyslexic, we should also test them all? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, of
They
course
don't learn
not.
that.
That's not how it works. The idea of the dyslexia screening is that it happens at the end of the year. And the reason for that is because the research shows that is when you would like to suspect a kindergartner to have issues with dyslexia if at the end of the year they're still having trouble on these things.
But I think probably the mom is concerned that
mom's
she's
really
not
worried.
progressing and she's a little aggressive to get her
The
tested.
signs are showing that she's writing the letters backwards and stuff still. It's less than before. And I talk to mom. I talk to her often.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of progress.
Right.
With her comprehension, with her writing, with her sound. Her self-esteem going up has helped a lot too.
Yeah.
So I recommended to mom, we keep working on that and see.
Yeah.
And I think the next M class in January and the end of the year, maybe we can have more detailed talk with her about that.
Yes. So basically, if you want me to speak with her, what's Alexis Agustin?
Yeah.
So basically, I can explain to her the process.
Okay.
I can help with that. And
She's
to let her
pretty
know.
understanding.
Yeah, she is.
She's very nice.
She's not. She's.
Yeah, and today our discussion was because I had come across this lab material, and I had just shared with Miss Saira to see if there was anything over there that we could use that's a little bit more explicit and direct. But Miss Saira said that it can only be useful when you're face to face and you can work with them on the worksheets, because these are only worksheets. This is not any material.
No.
And then again, because they're not coming to school, they are not exposed to the sensorial material. So the memory, generally in dyslexia, what are you going to do as a remedy? It's not like a magic pill that they are going to consume. So it's again your repetition, again you're using the sandpaper and the shaving cream and in writing in the air and hopping around it to build the memory. And over here we have the sandpaper letters to build the memory, but that exposure is missing for her.
Well, it's not necessarily missing, because let's just say it's not sandpaper letter, but who's preventing her from tracing the letters with her fingers?
That she is definitely they're doing.
Using it at home. She can do that.
She has kind of grown out of that, so she likes to write, and I've seen the improvement there. So I've been pushing them.
Yeah. So
So-
there are some ways in order to do it alternatively. Of course, it is not as sensorial as the sandpaper letters, but it's still
Yes.
tactile. And essentially, the memory is about the strokes. It's not necessarily whether it roughly feels in your hand makes it even stick. But it doesn't mean that by repetition,
That's exactly,
it can all work.
However, what type of an intervention can we think of in this virtual setting where the whole year may continue virtually and she's not coming to school, though she being at risk, she has the possibility, but she's not.
Just
So
dedicate to her more one-on-one.
Exactly. That's
Maybe
what I
twice
want.
a week. That was what I was doing before, and I can do that again. And at the same time, I have to be mindful not to let her feel singled out. So I have to add another kid in there every now and then. Just to be like, hey, let's go over sounds. Hey, let's go over 3-letter words together. Make it fun. So that was working, and I can continue to do that.
You can actually talk to mom about that and say that there are some things that Alexis and I, you've already seen some things that she's concerned about. So allot that 15 minutes at the end of the day, like after your lessons with the children, and say, I'm allotting this 15 minutes for her for an extra time for us to work on. And it doesn't need to be long drawn.
Oh yeah, mom's
15.
totally okay with that.
Yeah,
the thing was Alexa started shutting down.
Yeah.
So I have to watch out. I have to keep it like every other day or not too long. You should like be like
Yeah,
this after
15
the
minutes. 15 minutes.
Is
Don't take it too long.
What do you recommend about doing it after my Zoom class? That's how I was doing
Yes.
it.
Yes,
Do
after
it right
your
after,
Zoom class.
so she's in that mode.
Yes. And it's usually even better to put it in little segments. 15 minutes being the maximum.
10 or 15.
10
maybe.
or 15, because kids like this, you're right, they will shut down
Yeah.
completely. If you get it all longer, it's like, I've already done the rest of the day. But talk to mom about, let me have this time with her, and that
Mom's
mom
okay with that.
becomes
I've already,
encouraging.
she's already scheduled like twice a week, and tomorrow again I'm seeing her and just going over sound.
Okay. So you've been doing that before. Well, are you
Not
saying
as
you?
much now.
Okay, now I think you need to kind of like purposefully include that once a week, like twice a week.
intervention?
Yeah, as an
Okay.
intervention. And then monitor how it is going. Are the letters that she's knowing increasing? Like, what was the starting point?
Got it.
Were there like 3 letters or 5 letters
Yeah,
that
I've
she
been wondering
knew?
that. Her memory was clean.
Yeah.
It was like wiped out slate when we started school.
So
She didn't-
now how many letters
she
does she
didn't
know?
remember vegetables or fruits. It was that bad.
Uh-huh.
And those are things that kids see in real life often, and they remember them and recall them.
Right.
And mom and them were speaking English with her, so it's not like she's speaking a different language and doesn't remember.
Right.
But now her letters have improved. As I've been testing her and practicing with her, she knows more than half. So that's a good sign. Before it was like 3.
Meaning 13?
Yeah.
More than half
Yeah.
is 13
Yeah.
or 14.
And then honestly, the
that's
test
what I was
in
talking
class.
to Miss Saira, that by the end, and the year will just fly by, and if she's not ready to read and write, and then summer comes. Right now, just 2 more weeks, and again we'll have 3 weeks, 2 weeks break. So again, she will not be exposed consistently. Then again, so consistently that is our pattern, and that's how it's going to happen.
Continued, but
So
this, I believe, doesn't result. I mean, it's not a result of their directing. I had
Yes.
one kid who's so smart. He's reading at second grade level. He shut down when he saw it.
Exactly.
So I don't.
I don't particularly
Exactly.
rely on just what this says.
Yeah.
It's basically, first of all, the method is not aligned to this.
Yeah.
So this is only one.
I had a kid who's reading who couldn't do it, so I can't compare other kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
we have to
like
take
it's
each
different.
one. So what are her strengths? If you go to see, because we are working with, say, strengths building. So what are Alex's strengths?
Academically or socially?
Both ways. As a child, what do you see? Like, does she like to dance around, or what is it that she really, really enjoys?
Socially, she likes the fun stuff like kids, hair bands and unicorns and stuff like
And
that.
in terms of doing, like, skill, as a skill, which is her skill that she can do very
Academic.
easily.
I was thinking handwriting. She likes doing that now and is building up more and more. Before, when she was writing, it would be like one word this big, and now she's actually staying on the line and writing 3-letter words. So for me, that's a big deal. Seeing her get to that point, because I was like, I wish I could hold her hand and help her.
So writing, so she
that is one
enjoys
of her
that.
strengths, yeah. Number writing is still really weak. We practice that a lot. I just have her write the same number over and over again. But then when we start again, it's kind of like she forgot.
She's
So
forgotten.
it's that repetition we keep it going.
So
Again-
because we want to leverage her strength, so that she feels good. Like so if she enjoys handwriting, because some children could write and write and write and not feel tired. If that is how she is, then we have to use that for
she will get tired quick.
Very
Even though
quickly,
that is one
like-
of her strengths and she enjoys it. We'll be like, look, Miss Saira did this. It does take her longer than all the other kids to do it. So after that, she's like, I'm done. Just doing 3 lines, for example.
because I know you do a lot of drawing too, and
Oh, she loves
it's,
drawing.
so
but she can't keep up most of the time. So sometimes I've had to go in after class and be like, let's do it all over again. Just so she feels good. I never wanted her to feel bad or anything. The kids are with us for like 3 years. They're like our babies too.
So
And I know her so well.
Yeah. So basically, when you say she can't keep up, meaning
She's very slow. Like, she'll take her time. And I've noticed sometimes, like if we're doing math, addition, she'll be like digging in a bag, and I'll be like, Alexis, please put that away. I have to call her out at that point. And she will listen at that time and come and sit. There was times she was turning her screen off and disappearing. So then I had to call mom. That issue got resolved. So she tries different ways to kind of scoot away, But it's not happening anymore. She's good. So ever since I told mom about it, she's on top of it. She does sit with me alone. I'm really proud of her, the way she keeps up and listens and behaves. It's a big deal.
does she like to listen to stories when you're reading the
she does.
storybooks?
But
And then how does
she
her
does not-
comprehension?
when I ask questions, she doesn't reply as much. She waits for the other kids to answer. And that, you can't help that on Zoom.
So in the one-on-one, like when you have you read her and then asked her
No,
to
I've
see
done a
if
lot of sounds and 3-letter
sound,
words.
because just for us to see the connection
Yeah.
that between her comprehension and her
I can
writing,
try that. I
and
can do
just,
one-on-one
yeah.
reading with her.
because
I
that
don't
way we
think
know
that's-
that like short-term memory is not there. She listens and then you ask her and it's all gone. She doesn't know what we are talking about or what the character did. So then those are just dots that we are plotting. Then later on to see that now because like Ms. Delia was explaining in our meeting that an intervention is something that we plan, then we check. So we plan, say, for a week, every day I will do this. So in the end of the week, we want to see whether it's working or not working. If it's not working, then we want to see, okay, what else? So it's something like right away, we want to put like a SMART goal in place, be specific.
So basically, as far as that, I think you have two very good tools that you can actually do with her. So one was that the one-on-one you can use to really work on the letter sounds, because that's what she properly needs to use in order to read. And once her letter sounds are very, very strong, then go to the letter naming. The same process as we would do in Montessori,
Exactly.
because that's exactly what, I don't want to short circuit Montessori just
No.
because of this.
Exactly.
So,
It'd be bad for her.
it would be bad for her. So, she has to be very solid with her letter of sounds.
Yes.
And to me, at the beginning of the year, I am not particularly
No.
worried.
I've seen the scores. with
I've
that.
seen this happen where they're low in the beginning, but
I
at
agree.
the end, they're totally a different person.
And we are just around the corner to do it
Yeah.
again. In a few weeks, we'll be
Yeah.
there doing it. So we'll get a better idea by that time.
But after break, anything can happen again.
Exactly.
You're getting a clean slate.
So-
I've seen it in the past too.
I guess when you're doing that one-on-one, you can vary it. So there are days when you're concentrating, or maybe use the full 15 minutes. Let's say part of it would just be the first 5 minutes would be letter naming, and then the 10 minutes you used for reading some pages. Not
Okay.
necessarily a whole book if the book is long, but just like pages of a book, and then see how her retention of those in terms of like when you ask questions about the 3 pages that has been read, how would you respond to that? And then essentially in terms of the and then vary it. You can do one time in the week and the other another time in the week, or you can combine.
You have to keep her interested too.
Yeah.
That's another issue.
Yeah,
With the
maybe let
little-
her choose the topic she wants to read
That's a
about.
good idea.
Yeah,
Ask
like
her.
you say, ask her what
We've been talking about voting a lot, so I can have her.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
like
Good
what
idea.
things would you like to read about? The things that you wonder about. And then if she tells you, then you can read about stories about those things. And then tell mom to observe since she's already there, and let her know every time that you'd want to keep this up even during the break,
Okay.
so that mom will at least work on the letters that you've already worked with her. You're not telling her to work on the letters she has not worked with, although she can venture
She's
to
having
it.
that repetition.
Yeah,
Got it.
but just to constantly have her already do the things that you've already started with her, so that she doesn't forget, let's say, these 13 letters that she has already memorized by the time January comes, you know,
We
like,
want them there.
yeah,
And
at
it
least.
happened. In the summer, she didn't do anything.
You need me?
I was in touch with both of you, but I see you're in an hour doing so. I understand. Whatever you guys are
Grab a
doing.
chair.
So, yeah, you know, like, those two
So
things.
mom
but-
doesn't participate, right, when she's sitting for the
Usually she
class?
doesn't. She's going to college and she has 2 other kids.
So
The
she's
older
not
one
even
takes
sitting
up.
with her?
No, she doesn't. And I have a mind because I know how it goes. If mom's sitting there, she's going to play around more. And that happened in the beginning. Mom, do this. Mom, get this. Mom, wears this. So to avoid that, I'm like, okay with this. I want her to be more independent and stuff.
Yeah.
But mom observing is a good thing, or I can send her a text that, hey, this is what we worked
Yeah.
on today.
So the consistency of like, you're not even pushing her to do more than what you've already taught her. You're just having her repeat
That's it. Got it.
what she's done, what you've done. And then the other thing is about, what was I going for? So she sees it, right? And then let her, as far as goal setting is concerned, be very specific to her that you want to say, like, how many letters does she know now? 14? What do you know?
About 13.
About 13.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're going to tell her, I want to reach at least 20 by the end of this, by December 18th. That's my goal. That upon this time, you'd want that
Put a little
to be,
pressure on the mom.
yes,
Okay.
and to actually let her know that 20 should be there
Mhm.
when you.
And when she comes back, she's not
Mom's
forgotten.
really aware because she has older kids. She's aware of Alexis being behind and stuff.
Yeah.
She's good with that.
Yeah, and
I
but
would
this
too.
is like specific, so that
Mhm.
she would actually know that our goal together is that before the break, she knows 20. Now,
I'm gonna create a chart. Just keep in mind from what I'm sharing.
yeah,
I'm gonna create a letter chart and send it home to mom so she can check her by herself and I check her.
yes,
Then we can compare. Because
Exactly.
I think that would get mom encouraged. Like,
Yes.
hey, I gotta do it. So kind of like a report card.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
20
a
to
great
26 is the
Because
target.
we've never done these things in Montessori before, so I was trying to be really careful around the situation.
Right.
And
But
you
this
never
is
want.
this
yeah,
is
this is
after
within.
this is after Zoom too. I mean, this is after your
Yeah.
lessons.
So kind of like homework.
Yes.
Getting a package.
It's really an intervention
Got it.
because it's specific to her, and you're allotting a specific time to actually help her in a specific area. So that would help her. So those two things for until December 18th.
Got it.
And then, when she comes back, then that's the time when you want to write straight, fresh, see how much she's remembered. So you know how much work mom has also done.
We'll see that with the testing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to be able to see by January that she has retained all these 20 letters that we've worked on that she already. I mean, hopefully she reaches 20.
No, I had planned that even during the break, if I had to reach out to her and just Zoom with her, I was going to. Because in the summer,
that's a lot.
In the summer,
Sarah.
there was like zero work. And that was
On
because
her?
mom was moving, mom was in school, and I understand people were going through stuff. But when she came back and she didn't know stuff, like a clean slate, it was really scary.
It was like she was left to herself.
It's natural to forget. But she was really, really behind. But now she's caught up really well. It's just having that repetition.
Yeah, repetition is
That's why, it's the foundational period, and the gaps will occur, but then the gaps have to be filled up quickly. Otherwise, they'll only just keep growing wider.
That's why we've always had a good relationship. I talk to them very often. What's going on? What's happening?
Yes.
But during this break, I'll need mom to stay on top of. So that's a good idea. Having a little paper chart.
I think that'll be great, yeah.
Finding.
Yeah. She doesn't have to, but the thing is, give her an expectation that by January, you really want her to memorize all 26.
Got it.
Because tell her that the goal, you can bring up dyslexia, and I can bring that up when I talk to her, that the goal is that, but before the end of the year, by March, she's solid pretty much on her letter sounds, and that she will definitely start, or even already in the way, working into letter naming, because that should go like this.
Yeah.
It just takes 2 weeks. If you know all your letter sounds, that's like that. So eventually, when she gets there, letter naming fluency is like out of the picture already. She'll be within average level because of that. But there are definitely.
And so, also I'm wondering if there's any way of, we can see ahead that it happens that it goes a little slow in the kinder. The child is going to the first, hasn't developed the foundations, but the work in first is picking up, and then that's where the child keeps falling behind and behind and behind, and as the years go by, the gap just keeps increasing. So how do we bring this to the attention of the parent to, saying that this is such a critical period that you cannot allow, to say, okay, she'll learn, let her. I
don't know how to say that to her because they have another child and a younger child, so they'll be like, wait, they're all going through a critical period, the ones in elementary, too, in a way. You would think that my older child needs more help, not the kindergartner. So it's like really touchy subject.
Can we create something where the older sister can become like the buddy over there?
I don't
And
think it's a good idea too. Because you will put the
that.
burden on the older sister to take care of her little sister's education.
I
Which is,
know. That happens naturally sometimes, but not in this situation.
okay, if it happens organically, then it's so
if
big.
it happens organically, then
I think
fine.
right now what Delia recommended, the one-on-one we're going to do, make a chart for mom, keep her going in the break. I think that'll be really good.
But don't do too much of that. Let mom do.
Yeah,
let her be a parent and let her enjoy her break.
Yeah.
But let her have that 15 minutes. What you show her, what you demonstrate to her during that 15, don't go over 15 minutes.
Oh, I
what
can't.
you
She shuts
show
down.
is, that's it.
Got it.
Like, this is what I'm showing her, and if you follow through and this is what you do with her every day as well, it's going to help her. And we'll see after, if it doesn't happen, that after December 18th, none of the letters get, then there is something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then she really is a candidate, because this is intensive already. She really is a candidate for something else, because this is a very focused skill. It's two things only: letter naming and listening comprehension. only 2. And if she cannot really do that, then we have to look into
Exactly,
other-
you know, that how can we then
Numbers.
But you know, up to 2nd grade, children reverses their
In
marks.
15 years, I've seen it often. They write their E's back.
Yes,
Their E's back.
even my son had that.
She's doing a lot.
Yeah. So I don't want to like say,
That's it.
ooh,
No.
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, no.
Because it could be a blossoming thing.
I hope so.
Sometimes it is, but we're not saying like, oh, we'll just let it be.
Yeah,
No.
no.
There is the beauty of what Montessori is supposed to be, for what it's worth, is that by nature of its individually attending to the child with the lesson, you're actually addressing that need. The reason that in a traditional school, they always come up with, let's say, what are you going to do differently? Because they never do things differently with each child. They do it as a whole
Exactly.
group.
it's a standardized pattern.
Yeah, so their
But,
thinking is always, what are you going to do differently? But in Montessori, we naturally do things differently. with
Literally we
each
do,
child.
however, you know, because
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I don't like it when they say, what are you going to do differently? What do you mean?
Yeah.
We're doing it individually. You're
There's
the
not
mi-
much else we can
the,
offer.
the mindset you're thinking is because you're saying that we're dealing with it in the same way with everybody, but we're not. Like everybody's approach is very as what she's naturally offered for Sarah to offer. Like I can give her another 15 minutes at the end of the day. That is not something a traditional teacher would say because it's not a natural occurrence to think that way, that you have to give that segmented time to that child. To them it's like, I teach the child
later.
as part of the group.
yeah,
See you later.
if you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
So-
The group study is so hard this year with COVID, and we saw that right in the beginning when starting the class that some kids were feeling shy, were feeling embarrassed. They didn't want to even read a word
Yeah.
because other kids are listening, and they were not used to that. So she went through that process too, but she's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm happy with it. This thing really doesn't have anything to do
Yeah.
with that right now.
Yeah, no, it's you know, because we are just talking about
Yeah, it
all
will
children.
take a process
Exactly.
for her. And as I actually spoke with all of them at one time, and I said, don't be too worried about what this says.
No, this
Because
is not the
yeah, I really want that them to know that what they're already doing is the right process, and they have to begin with letter sounds and not suddenly jump into letter names.
However, she's not in the 3-4 year band, you know. She's 5 years.
Mhm.
So like she's on that outer side of the margin of the primary class.
That always happens,
So-
but they catch up too sometimes so quick. Like we've had kids who don't
But
talk for 2
she
hours.
didn't begin with us either.
No.
No,
Yeah, at 4. She began at
Yeah.
4. That's what I was just
she
checking.
didn't begin with us.
That, and there was no reason for mom not to bring in her at 4. And so that's like a loss of a very critical period.
Yeah.
When she came that speech, she would not talk. She was
Exactly.
very embarrassed to talk. So she's still in that social, growing, academic, everything going slowly, but it's going up. You know, in a good way.
It's
so.
progress.
Exactly.
So, you know, as we are working with this, we can sort of keep this whole thing going for her and then see at the end of when we come back in January, mid-January and all that, how you feel, what is your observation. Then we can plan further, and then we have to think ahead and see that the summer loss again doesn't happen. Because last year, as you said, there was a complete summer loss. Mom may go to college and again, you know, it may just happen. So how would you prepare for that? So we can sort of start thinking about it, that though she would not be in your room, but then as a completion, what strategies, what work would we send out? How would we
Definitely
coach
should
the
be summer
parent?
school.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. She's definitely gonna be in
Summer school. Okay.
Even if it's remote or
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
you have to keep it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
at the end of the day, even if Sarah gives her materials to work with in the summer, she's not with her. If the mom doesn't do anything with the materials that she gives,
yeah,
Again,
that's why I'm
I
saying
don't blame-
coaching mom from now,
yeah.
like keeping her engaged and involved from now, so that it becomes a habit with her, so that, you know, in summer it's just like spending that 30 minutes of quality time with her, making sure that that is not completely lost. You know, new things may not get added, but at least the child is on that plateau.
I mean, for the mom to be worried about whether she has something or not is not what is important. I mean, it is important for the sake of knowing that she probably is dyslexic, but okay, what do you do about it?
That's exactly what
I
we were
mean,
discussing.
it's like
I think they want to get her tested for more stuff too, so they want it out the way. Personally, that's my opinion.
to what?
To get her tested for more things too, because even speech, they didn't know if she has a speech problem or anything. And we didn't discuss it. And so we're like, hey, we don't understand her. I know she's 3 and she's growing out of it, or 4. So I think it's just something like she wants to.
To kind of like,
Yeah.
you're saying that it is kind of like
Like a
becoming
checklist.
like a checklist. Then. So, but then what do you do to have her, to have the child conquer that? Like, build her skills so that she can cope. What are her coping skills? So that even if I am labeled dyslexic or I am labeled with a speech impediment,
ADHD.
what else what do I do? Because that's just the beginning. It's not the end. So what if you knew somebody is like this or like that? If at all they become academically strong,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter anymore. You know, it's
I think that would just make the parents realize, my personal opinion, make the parents realize, hey, this child doesn't need extra effort. Right now, it's
And who is going to extend that? I mean, that, in that sense, because when
sometimes
the
you
moms.
hear from a higher authority that, hey, this is going on. It does kind of open parents' eyes. I understand, like, parents from, the 80s and 90s, they don't have the same education that we know about children as teachers. So that's why I'm kind of soft with her and understand. I've been talking to her about that, but I think she just needs, like, to know that, do I need to move forward? Do I need to put in extra effort with her? Is it something we have to be concerned about?
So have you been in touch with the speech language pathologist also to see what she does with her, like, as partners? Because
I used to see how Mira did it before with her, but this year we haven't had time and I've not actually met her.
okay, yeah.
But Mira used to play games with them and stuff, and Alexis loved going with her.
yeah.
And she
So
focused on sounds, particularly with the mirror, with games, that, hey, this is how you're going to do it. That helped a lot.
So has Carrie started getting her?
would you know whether she's going to her speech class?
One time Mom asked me for a link, so I'm thinking they might be doing, but I never checked up on
Oh, because she is remote, right? So-
Yeah, she's fully remote.
it.
So I'm sure, I don't know, otherwise Carrie, what we can do, we'll ask Carrie to give us a weekly report of who did not attend class.
Maybe a monthly report. She
So-
only does 2 days a week, right?
Yeah, but still every week if we know like who didn't, for
Then we
what
can
reasons,
start
at least we
following
can do something, because she comes straight to class, and then so then it will be a good idea at least to know that how many were not there. Yeah, so we'll look
But
into
you know,
that. Yeah.
her sister, for all its worth, she does have some issues too, but then sometimes she has those moments where she's pretty, like, she can actually, get it. It's,
Are there any concerns with the sister?
I don't know.
no.
Mom never. personally.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
she comes to our school, right?
Yeah, she does.
Mm-hmm.
She's very sweet.
Very nice family.
Yeah, very nice.
And I really appreciate Mom's efforts and stuff always.
Yeah.
And, hopefully the third baby's coming to my class too.
Oh.
And
So
so,
the-
Like, I know you.
I'm going to call her about that. Her questions about dyslexia screening.
I had to get back to her too. Do you want me to call her first and you, or
Yeah,
you want to do
yeah,
that? Okay.
and tell her that
But I
I'll
told her
call
I'm meeting her today, so I was like, we'll
Oh,
discuss it.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'll update Mom and let her know that we're gonna do it after M class, maybe.
Tell
Get
her
back to
that
her
the
in progress.
process for our school is that kindergartners are screened for dyslexia at the end of the year, because that is actually a TEA requirement. So
I've
tell her
discussed
the
that with
state
her.
requires us to actually screen dyslexia at the end of the year and not sooner, because by virtue of if you do it sooner, it would come up that that child has dyslexia when they don't.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah. Mhm.
why?
It could be a
Yeah.
misinterpretation.
I've never had
could be
in
a
15 years anybody tested
misinterpretation.
for that at a young
Yeah.
age like this.
So at the end of the year, there's a other than these components.
Yeah, there were 4 or 5. Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 items at the below her name, below Alexa's name, and you would have to put a check mark on that. And so that will add to the assessments that she has to do at the end of the year, and you will have to do it for, well, you've got to do it for all kindergartners anyway. You see? Like, you're not just
that's going to go on every
Yes.
Okay,
You're
I
not
remember.
just going to do it only for Alexis just because mom asked. It's all for kindergartners. That's why you cannot really rush it, because if it were so that you can just like readily identify a 4-year-old or a beginning 5-year-old to be dyslexic, the TA would have said, do that at end of 4-year-old. Right? Like they would have already told us
I
that.
understand. I don't recommend it. I just wanted to know we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just say it happens at the end of the year because we are required to do that at the end of the
Got
year.
it. Okay.
And we'll meet after the 15th, after you do the both the reading and the math
Do you want to hang
assessment.
on to this? Because
Yeah,
I'm not going
I'll keep it. I'll keep the resources, you know, so this way, anytime we need them,
Got it.
and you know, we can always work with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wednesday like that, or a Thursday we were suggesting, right? Or Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So whenever we don't have the staff
don't have a
meeting,
staff meeting.
yeah, we'll check that out,
Okay.
and we'll meet again to just follow up and then
Sure.
see what there is.
Yeah, I really wouldn't recommend worksheets for, especially
Yeah,
for
no, it would throw her off.
It would throw her off.
You wouldn't recommend?
Worksheets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
I would rather stick to the materials that she's already familiar with, because it's just going to add to an obstacle. In Montessori, they call it, you want to remove the obstacle, so that's why you want to focus on certain materials that would actually develop that skill, rather than to give them multiple sets of tools and you're targeting the same skill. It's even going to confuse the child even more. So that's why Montessori says you use this for letter sounds. She doesn't say, oh, and you can use this too. Oh, you can use
Yeah, it's very specific. Yeah.
She's very specific.
Pick one thing.
You know,
one
you
thing
use
first.
this, and that's what you're going to use this for. Because that's exactly what she doesn't want to happen. That the child confuses, like,
I know.
which one? Like, well, what am I going to do? There's a, you want to stick and be
Just to one
true
thing,
to-
not too many variables.
Yes.
Just-
Especially at this age.
Yeah.
I didn't learn that till Delia. Sorry, you know, I didn't learn that till I had kindergartners, and one day we were like, hey, let's try a timesheet because they're gonna see that in first grade. Let's see how they react to it. They didn't know how to do it,
Yes.
even though they're doing addition, multiplication, division,
They
everything.
don't. You
So it was
just
like-
made it. You shocked them.
Exactly. But I was like, we should prepare them a little. So you know what I did to fix that? I cut them up. I made them into strips and made smaller little fraction problems or addition, and that worked better.
Yeah. Because they're not ready.
Ready for it. Yeah.
They need order. So once you give them something so big that it's like, what do you want me to figure out for this? I can't handle it, you know, all together. I can handle it one at a time. But when they are in elementary, that's when they don't care about order, but they want to get it in groups. Even the way they would carry the golden beads, it's so amazing. Here, they would take it one at a time. And that's natural for them. If you break that mode, you're dead. You practically killed the lesson. In your elementary, you force a child to take that one at a time, you're dead. They're not going to work with that material.
It's a social thing, I guess.
Yeah,
And it's a growth. It's a growth
thing.
in there.
They want to carry
The phase, you know.
will, the elementary, pull the whole set out of the shelf, even if they could barely carry it. Pull it out, put it on the floor, and you know what? They're not even going to lay it out. They're going to look
Use
at
the
it,
amateur.
and then
pull
they're
out
going
what they need.
to say, you know what? They're not even going to organize it. But what you're watching
Slowly,
is,
yeah.
you're not going to impose organization. Why? That's not how they think. What they're thinking is, I want answers now.
Changes them.
Yeah, it changes. So, imagine if you interfered. You cut the process.
Yeah, they'll be like, I want to.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to use that material. You want me to organize that thing? That's not my.
I don't even want
That's
to
not
do
my
it.
priority right now. I just want to find the answers using that material, and you just. You know,
I
you
work with aftercare long enough to learn the elementary
Yeah.
aftercare.
It's different. So,
Really interesting.
Yeah, so that they have a chaos that's going on in there that's very different from here.
Here it's everything is like
It's
spick,
pristine
span,
and
pristine,
orderly.
yeah.
But there, it's not about order. It's about will this give me the answer I want?
They're moving from the hard material to the
So they're
abstraction.
just gonna give me,
So
they lay out
you
the
just
the
need
time
it for a
stamp-
little
the
time.
the stamp game. Here you lay it out one by one. You would know if a child is not pretty ready over there because they would still lay it out. By the time middle of the year happens, they're no longer doing it. It's stacked up like that. I said, how many is that? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. No, they don't do that anymore.
They don't need to actually.
They have.
They don't need to. They don't need to. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call home, and then do you want me to update you guys, email or text?
Well,
Email will be fine.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Right.
sure.
Thank
So
you.
give
Thank
them
you.
until December 18th and tell them our target is to move to 20 letters,
Okay.
and we'll see how far we can go. It's not like a hard target. You're just saying the goal is 20 by the end of December 18th. And then that by January, that 20 still remains,
Got it.
you know? So that,
Yeah, I'm not gonna pressure her.
yeah, don't pressure her. It's like more of like a target for her to look at
Got it.
and see how that goes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss
See you. Have a good
Saira.
night.
Thank you so much, Miss Delia.